hearing and we're going to record it. For the next hour, we're going to hear from some current volunteers, 5 of them, about their experiences. And we're hoping that what they say will encourage you to become a volunteer also. So to get started, Catholic Charities CEO, Father John Ensler, will share with us the big vision for why we involve volunteers in the mission of Catholic Charities. Father John?
Maggie, thank you so much. It is truly a pleasure to be here with all of you. As I saw your faces on the screen, I got excited about new people, people who want to be involved and people who are anxious to do more for us. The mission of Catholic Charities is to help those who are in need with 2 things: give help that empowers and hope that lasts. So help and hope. Those are 2 words we think highly of because they speak of our hope for others. And one of the best ways to do that, frankly, is not just through our staff, but actually through attracting and hopefully stewarding volunteers who help us do a good job at this as best we can. We have a lot of rules about volunteers in terms of anybody can volunteer for us, any religion, any background, any ethnic background, all successful. It's true also of our clients. When people come to us, we don't ask the question what the religion is or what their faith background is. We ask only one thing: what it is? How can we help you? That's all. How can we help you? There's never a question about what faith you are. It's not important to us. It's how we provide our services. We all know seems to be a real desire right now in society to help people. During the pandemic, lots of people couldn't really volunteer as much because we had these restrictions and spacing and all the things went with it. We're getting back to it right now. I'm excited about that. But just in the last couple of days, you have Afghanistan, you have the issue of Haiti, you have New Orleans right now. People have been coming to me in front of church, whatever, saying, what can I do? How can I help? What can I give? Just know that when you do that, you are supporting lots of people who really, frankly, have no place else to go. And we make a difference for them in a very special way. So I thank you for your open hearts, your big hearts, and say, how can I help somebody else? How can I help Catholic Charities? The speakers who are here today, each of them has their own story to tell, why they volunteer and why they want you to join us. So sit back, enjoy, relax, and enjoy the speakers, because I think they speak to all of us, every one of us, about why it is we should give back to those in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Father John. That's a great start to the evening. Thank you. So since this is a virtual tour of Catholic Charities, let me tell you where you're going, since you won't see where we're going. We are going to make 5 brief stops, and at each stop hear from a volunteer. And then our final stop, we'll hear from a special volunteer. And then I'll wrap up with some brief follow-up comments. At each of our stop on the tour, you'll hear from a current volunteer. They'll share their stories about why they volunteer, what volunteering means to them, and how they got motivated to make the step to become a committed volunteer. We're hoping that what they say will speak to your hearts. Tomorrow, midday, somebody from the volunteer office will call you to find out what you want to do next and to answer any questions you have about the logistics or the administrative side of becoming a volunteer. Sound good? So for tonight, let's just listen to the stories. Stop 1 on our tour is a set of programs that serve people who are immigrants, people who are making their way in our community after leaving the place they know best and the culture that nurtured them. One of the volunteers for those programs is Kevin Brothers. Kevin is a licensed attorney who offers his knowledge and his special skills to people who need them. Kevin started volunteering with Catholic Charities Legal Network in 2005. Then he learned immigration law and switched over to volunteer for the Immigration Legal Services Pro Bono program. Kevin's a retired Naval Intelligence Officer. He attended American U Law School. And in addition to volunteering with us, Kevin teaches at University of Maryland Global Campus. He and his wife have 2 grown children that live in the region. Kevin, tell us your story.
Hey, thank you, Maggie, and welcome everyone. Yes, I volunteer with Immigration Legal Services for a long time. I started with the Archdiocesan Legal Network because we were a dual military couple, and I was the trailing career. So I was following my wife around the country and around the world, and I didn't really have a chance um, to get started in practicing law. But when I got back here, I thought, okay, I have a license to sue in my pocket. Why don't I put it to good use? I'll go join Archdiocesan Legal Network. So I went and started volunteering with them, and they do an intake, and you get to learn about the clients, a lot of bankruptcy cases, a medical bankruptcy, landlord tenant. And then I saw all these people coming in and out with immigration problems, because right across the hall from us was Immigration Legal Services. And I thought with my background in foreign affairs and foreign languages that maybe that would be a good place for me where I could do even more. So I went over and talked to them, and that's how I ended up at Immigration Legal Services. Learned a bunch of stuff working there. The first thing I really learned is to take people as they come, not to judge them where they're coming from in their life situation, because our clients are vulnerable, they're low income, they're homeless, they're victims of crime, victims of human trafficking, and you really can't judge them. You have to take them as they come and try to help them from there. They're some of the most challenging clients out there. You wouldn't get those in a law firm. But on the other hand, they're some of the most appreciative clients out there when you help them. They really appreciate what you can do for them like nobody else. I've also impressed with the other people at Catholic Charities, the quality of people working there and their sense of mission. And as Father John said, you know, it's not, we don't, as actually Father Hickey or Cardinal Hickey, the guy who the building is named after, the headquarters, said, we don't do these things because we are Catholic, because you are Catholic, we do them because we are Catholic. And I had to use that line on my very first day, because a woman came in with a hijab on, and she was obviously Muslim, and she was very shy. And she said, you know, I have to admit to you, I'm not Catholic. And I said, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter what religion you are. I don't know what half the people religion is who work with us. And I know our program director is Jewish. I know we have a Mormon attorney in the office, and I know we have a long line of Mennonite volunteers who work with us. So that's an important thing to remember. One other thing, I had an important, had a client one time, and everyone told me this client, she was an impossible client to work with. We were never going to win the case. She had been an asylee. She got her green card, and then USCIS said she was going to be denied citizenship, and then she might lose her green card. And every other attorney in the office told me it's not possible. She's going to lose this case. And I figured we got to do something. So I went, sat her down, talked for an hour, talked through her problem, talked through it, wrote a letter to USCIS, not based on law, just based on, you know, her understanding of what happened. And we won that case, and she became a citizen of the United States, which is an immigration like the greatest thing, the most happy that she could possibly be. And I think, you know, I helped that one person just because it was me who was there, nobody else, just me. And if you just make a difference in one person's life, that's really something. And in the military, we talk about a force multiplier, and that's where you have a force, and you have other factors that make the force even more powerful. And I think that's what volunteers are at Catholic Charities. So we have our staff that works at Catholic Charities, but the volunteers come in and allow the staff to do so much more, because we do a lot of what they would otherwise be stuck doing. So we really allow the staff to do more than they ever could. So I hope you'll join us, because there are a lot of people out there who desperately need help, and you can probably help us.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks, Kevin. I really appreciate you sharing your story. Stop 2 on our tour is a set of programs that are seeking people with special skills to use behind the scenes. The Catholic Charities staff, as Kevin mentioned, are terrific, and they are eager to do more and better. So volunteers in the roles that are behind the scenes will do special projects. They'll set up processes, they'll help carry out projects. And you'll also sort of minister to the people who work at Catholic Charities by bearing witness and to their work and acknowledging what they do. A current volunteer in one of these roles is Mary Lou Carnevale. Mary Lou came to us in 2017, actually when we recruited her husband, Bob, to be a Hope Corps volunteer, and she came along. Well, lucky us. All this time later, Mary Lou is still volunteering with us. She is spending her time with the Share Food Network, where she is bringing energy and determination and a can-do attitude to a very busy Share Food warehouse that helps thousands of people every month get food that they need. Mary Lou is a retired Wall Street Journal editor, and we are so thrilled she's part of our team. Mary Lou, tell us your story.
Thank you, Maggie. My name is Lou Carnevale, and I volunteer at the Share Food Network, a program that provides nutritious groceries for people who are food insecure or are suffering from hunger. These days, I work 2 days a week and often more during the distribution time. I work behind the scenes doing administrative stuff, taking orders, payments, preparing for distributions. And I started working at Share, as Maggie said, because my husband had started and dragged me along. And I found it just wonderful. It was great meeting the Share staff and the participants who are so kind and so grateful. I'd like to tell you a couple of things that I've learned about volunteering with Catholic Charities. First, that the staff is kind and supportive and hardworking. I'm so blessed to work with a group that cares so deeply about those they serve. They are focused on the mission and they're fun. Share participants have taught me about true generosity. Yet my heroes are those who have far less than I do and still give their time and their money to help those who have even less. We see it month after month where people come in to help those in their community, and it never stops amazing me how good and gracious they are. Hunger and food security, go along with health care, and it's become especially important during the pandemic. Catholic Charities has stepped up with extra food distributions, and we've relied on a small army of volunteers who come in to package goods to get them out the door of the warehouse. Our partners are other nonprofits, there's government groups, there's some companies who help us. It's just a blessing to see so much food leaving the warehouse when it is so desperately needed. That's going to increase even more as we head into November and the holiday season, because we're anticipating a lot of organizations will be ordering food for their people. You can help Catholic Charities mission by volunteering. With your time and your talents, we can really care for the sick. We can feed the hungry and help the poor, and at the same time help ourselves. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Lou. It's nice to have you with us tonight. Appreciate it. The third stop on our tour is a set of programs that endeavor to help people on their journey out of poverty by focusing on really the hardest thing to talk about: money. People living on the margins, like most people, feel some amount of shame about how they manage their money, and they feel fear and confusion about the taxes and banking and a myriad of other things. Well, the Financial Stability Program is a group of volunteers who offer judgment-free mentoring, financial education classes, tax filing assistance, and so forth. Two of those volunteers are Fred and Marie Cornelius. Now, let me tell you, this is one incredible couple. They have been married for decades, for starters. Second, they're partners in their own successful wealth management firm. And in their free time, they volunteer together. So that's pretty remarkable. Fred is going to share with us the thoughts that he and Marie would like you to know about volunteering with the Financial Stability Network. Fred? Fred, you're on mute. There we
Okay.
go.
Somebody had to mess it up, and I guess I was the lucky one tonight. So
Thank you for doing that.
thanks very much, Maggie. I appreciate that. So again, my name's Fred Cornelius, and my wife Maria and I have been volunteering with the Financial Stability Network program for about 3 years. So currently, we've been teaching classes at the Dorothy Day Place in Rockville, Maryland. And this houses men and women who are currently experiencing homelessness. We became volunteers initially after Deacon Shanahan had reached out to us. And we felt like this was something relatively small that we could do to make a big impact. As Maggie had mentioned, we're both financial advisors. And so we work together and deal with financial issues all day, every day. With our clients. And it's been interesting to me that while the number of zeros that might be behind somebody's assets is very different, most people have the same common problems. And again, getting back to what Maggie said, it's a very difficult subject for a lot of people to talk about, especially if you don't have much. You feel very guilty about it. It was a natural fit for us because of our background. And so we thought we could bring some unique aspects of this to the clients at Dorothy Day by passing on some basic fundamentals of budgeting and savings to the client. So we do this and it's very easy to do. For anyone who's worried about not having an expertise, Catholic Charities provides all the materials, and this includes an instructor guide to help you address questions and just the flow of the program. They put together a participant guide that is provided to all the participants of the program and the PowerPoint presentation. So it's all done for you. So you don't have to worry about being an expert. You're really just there to guide the clients through the material and address questions. So it's very easy to do. And it's a very minimal time commitment because most of that work is done for you. What we found sort of special and gratifying about volunteering is that everyone is just so busy with family and their own jobs and commitments that just setting aside some time to help someone else less fortunate, where you're essentially getting nothing from it, from a dollars and cents perspective, is really quite remarkable and makes you feel wonderful, and you're really making a difference for these people. They have not been blessed with a lot of the financial advantages that we all take for granted. Some of them did support themselves quite successfully, but for a financial mishap that has caused them really significant money problems. And anyone who has any sort of a problem, the toughest problems to deal with are ones that are just beyond your control and have nothing to do with anything that you may have done. So a few of the things that we've learned along the way is that the participants are people just like the rest of us. So we try to learn their names, learn about them, and that is also very fulfilling in terms of the volunteer process. So we can address them after the first class by their name and greet them. And it's a volunteer opportunity where you really can become somewhat close to the people that you're helping, rather than just making a financial commitment or doing some sort of other volunteer work. So that's been very relevant for us. Kevin and Mary Lou talked about medical problems. We see that a lot with these individuals. So it's really probably, I would have to say 80% of the time, it was a medical issue that sets in motion this chain reaction of events. So the medical issue may have caused additional expenses that were greater than the emergency fund or the savings that the person had. And then the lack of adequate health insurance compounds that issue. And then maybe they have to take time off of work. So that makes it even harder to dig out of the hole. And so all of these things sort of cascade, and then the cycle just continues. So they are, in many cases, really quite hopeless when they come into the program from a financial point of view. And so just listening to them and helping them think through some of these issues, and then pointing them to resources that are available through all of Catholic Charities and even the county, it really is quite nice to be able to do for someone. And they are just so appreciative, as everyone else has said. Finally, the safety net that we all, I think, are accustomed to is not there for them. So they really don't have any place to turn. And so being able to just point them in the right direction feels really great as a volunteer. I would have to, I guess, to finish, we're all familiar with homelessness from the news and looking at where it happens across the country. But I was really not quite aware to the extent of it in our local community until we started volunteering. So by committing some time to the Financial Security Network, we've been able to put a face and a name to this issue and help people really on a one-on-one basis. And so we feel as though we've been able to make a real positive impact in the community on a personal level. So I would encourage anyone who has an interest in finance or just an interest in helping people, because again, you don't have to be an expert here, to make your Financial Stability Network something that they would consider. So please consider joining us, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Ken. Thank you, Fred. That's a nice pitch. The Financial Stability Network is looking for volunteers in a variety of roles, including instructor like Fred and Marie do, but also some behind the scenes coordinating and managing efforts as well. So thank you for telling us about that. The fourth stop on our tour is to programs that help people get jobs. One of Catholic Charities' operating principles is that people gain dignity through work and supporting themselves and their families. Volunteers, like Kevin mentioned, I love that idea of a force multiplier. So the next volunteer is definitely a force multiplier. She volunteers in a program, and her work expands and enhances the efforts that the staff can make to connect people with well-paying jobs that are stepping stones out of poverty. This volunteer is Anne Lilienthal, and a little different from Kevin, Kevin and Fred, who are kind of staying in their swim lane, with the expertise they have. Anne, by day, is a power attorney in DC at a big firm doing all that stuff, and by evening she's using her Spanish and her just warm personality to coach people through finding a new job. And Anne, we'd love to hear your story.
Thank you, Maggie. Hi, everyone. My name is Anne. Like Maggie said, I volunteer as a job coach with the Montgomery County Family Center. I'm a little newer to the program. I've been volunteering there for just in 2021. And before that, I had an in-person placement through Hope Corps that unfortunately was put on a prolonged pause due to COVID. So like Maggie said, I'm a lawyer in private practice during the day. I'm a finance lawyer and was specifically looking to do non-lawyering in my volunteer life. So no particular background in employment coaching or social work, or no obvious connection to this job, but I do work in Spanish during the day. This has been a great opportunity for me to use Spanish in a slightly different context. And when I was looking to volunteer, I had been sort of doing things here and there around the DC community, more ad hoc. Then I started to look for longer term roles, because my experience in sort of that ad hoc volunteering was that I saw volunteers that had more longer term commitments to organizations, and had seen how those organizations and the clients were really able to rely on the volunteers in a way that maybe they couldn't with just, one-off volunteer. And I just felt like I could contribute more meaningfully in sort of a longer term role. And also, I'm a lawyer and wanted some additional structure. So I started looking at Catholic Charities. I was familiar with Catholic Charities from growing up, when I used to volunteer with my family. And I just started looking through the programs, connected with Leah, saw so many things that were so interesting to me, and just seemed so impactful, and ended up here as a job coach. It's remote. It's a bilingual role. It's been everything I had hoped it would be. I think, like Kevin said, I feel that kind of multiplier effect. It's great. I think a lot of people in the DC area have really limited time. And so knowing that the time you do take to give back, knowing that you want, of course, to maximize, the impact that you can have for the community. And that's for sure what I felt equipped to do. We help people look for jobs that are the right fit for them, apply for them, review their resumes, help them with cover letters and interview preparation, and just sort of steps along the way. And seeing clients get jobs, and helping people take what is just a very and inherently stressful situation and sort of distill it into discrete, more immediate term goals, and then longer term goals that are much more achievable than just sort of the overwhelming stress of being unemployed, has been really rewarding. And also, I think, just a skill that, I'm in the client service industry too. And I think it's just a great sort of skill for me in my full-time job too. Catholic Charities, like the other volunteers have said, has had the most amazing training. I was in the Hope Corps general training and some of the volunteer general orientations, and then also specifically with the team that I'm working with at Montgomery County Family Center. Everybody has been amazing. I am out of my lane. I don't have any background in this area, and I felt I will say, before I started volunteering longer term, I think I maybe felt, I don't want to say intimidated, but it can be a little bit daunting when you see volunteers that have years of experience, and that maybe have backgrounds that are more suited to the roles that they've signed up for. And so I did feel a little bit, nervous about whether I would be able to contribute meaningfully. And I felt so equipped, with the training that I've gotten from the Catholic Charities programs and from the staff. Learned a lot about sort of just principles even of social work, and removing, I remember we went through on sort of how to write case notes in a way that's not judgmental, and learning to sort of remove elements of your own judgment and biases is something I think that's important to do continuously, and for me has been super valuable, especially this last year, learning more about the challenges that members of the community are facing in finding employment. So I've learned so much already. I haven't been doing it that long, and I just feel like I've learned so much. And I think the last thing I would say is, apart from, obviously, it's, I think, important to everybody in this call to give back, one of the side benefits that I found of volunteering through Catholic Charities is the community. You know, I've met a lot of great staff. I've met a lot of volunteers that are from all sorts of backgrounds and that I just don't think I would have met in any other, you know, area of my life. And we have a nice team. You know, we just had our first group check-in and it was great to learn about the experiences other people on the team are having with their clients, and just sort of to have that support network has been a really, I don't want to say unexpected, but sort of a nice ancillary benefit to give through Catholic Charities. So I will hopefully be volunteering for a while, and hopefully alongside some of you, and would definitely encourage you if you're on the fence to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. That was great. It's nice. Thank you for sharing, you know, your feeling journey too. I think that's where it is for a lot of people, right? It's like, how's this really going to work? It's a great story. Thank you for sharing. Our final volunteer is very special. Her name is Karen, and she regularly volunteers for St. Maria's Meals on Tuesday nights in Temple Hills, Maryland, at our Mona Center. She helps hand out food to a couple of hundred people come through the line for a hot meal, and you know, some nights some additional groceries to take home. And Karen is one of the, you know, warm, friendly faces who is there helping to serve the food. And when we launched this current volunteer recruitment campaign, which we call the Fall Call for Volunteers, Say Yes, Karen contacted me and she said, you know, Maggie, I volunteer once a week, but I would actually like to do more. What else you got for me? And so we're looking at, you know, various opportunities, just like everybody who's attending this virtual open house is doing. And I thought it would be neat for you to hear from Karen about her thinking, you know, about why she's going from, you know, very respectable once a week volunteering food to wanting to do something more. Karen, will you tell us your story?
Sure. Thank you, Maggie. Hello, potential volunteers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, my name is Karen Carr. I do currently volunteer with Catholic Charities for St. Maria's Meals. To give you a brief summary, St. Maria's Meals prepares hot, delicious meals for those who are in need of emergency food assistance. We, the volunteers, package and distribute the food to families who either drive up or just walking by and looking for a delicious and nutritious meal. We may prepare approximately 350 meals on that given day, and for St. Maria's Meals, and we serve everyone who stops by, regardless of social, economic, or religious background. St. Maria's Meals are very generous in giving out their meal packages and turns no one away that are seeking food assistance. So if you have families or friends who need food assistance, please have them stop by. The information and location can be found on Catholic Charities website. So as we know, during this pandemic, many families throughout the world are experiencing severe hardships due to lost worker income, making it a struggle to put food on the table every day. This has been an ongoing economic crisis across the nation for so many families that are facing tough times, needing help paying their normal everyday life expenditures, such as housing, medical bills, and expensive child care. So I asked myself, what can I do? Is there anything that I can do to give back for the many blessings that I received in my life? Well, as the good Lord said, ask and you shall receive. And to my surprise, a few days later, I received an email from Catholic Charities. Now, mind you, this was last year. So everything was put on pause due to the pandemic. But this year, I received an email and I said, again, this is my opportunity to change and serve in my community. I have also encouraged family members and friends to come out and volunteer with Catholic Charities and experience the joy of giving back. In this journey, I've met so many wonderful people, such as Maggie O'Neill, who just introduced all the volunteers, Tom Roddy, and Walter, who are very instrumental in making St. Maria's Mills a successful event. They give the volunteers water in the sun and heat. Um, they always ask to let them know if we need a break, and they make sure we have cold water. So I get an opportunity to network with other volunteers and share my stories, smiles, and words of encouragement for those who are in need. Volunteer has always been a passion of mine, instilled in me by my parents, who are now deceased. They were natural givers. My mom herself was very active in the church and had us in church morning, noon, and night. Whether it be Sunday school, Sunday worship, and Bible study. You name it, anytime the church doors were open, we were there. This was just a given in our household. And I do always remember seeing them lending a helping hand, whether it be a parishioner needing a ride to church, whether it be providing free childcare services within the church and the community, as well as providing family and friends a place to stay who were experiencing life's difficulties. My parents, having 6 children, mind you, always made it work for those who needed help. This inspired me and motivated me, even as a child, to want to help others too. So what's so very special about volunteering for Catholic charities is being able to give individuals a sense of hope where there is hopelessness. I myself plan to have a nonprofit safe haven foundation for children that may be experiencing homelessness and potentially be placed in the foster care, or may not have a loving, caring, and safe environment within their own home due to unfortunate circumstances. Catholic Charities is showing me the way to get started on my personal dream and to just do it. And several things that I've also learned by volunteering for Catholic Charities are: one small act of kindness goes a very long way. You get a chance to see so many smiles and happiness when people see they are not in their situation alone, and that Catholic Charity truly cares about their needs and are willing to take the time and do something about it. It's a very rewarding experience, and it gives you a sense of being committed to helping others. Catholic Charities is all about compassion, teamwork, and building futures, and I'm glad to be part of that mission. I truly encourage you to consider volunteering for Catholic Charities. There are so many available opportunities on their website that you can choose from. We all are blessed with talents and skills, and I'm sure you can find something that you like and fits your specific expertise, and trust me, you'll fit right in. Another factor is if you have kids, get them involved as well. Volunteering with Catholic Charities will increase their self-confidence, allow them to network with their peers, and meet interesting people, as well as give them a sense of accomplishment, knowing they did a good deed for that day, helping others in their community who are in need, and a great way to express their desire to help. I've seen so many parents bring their kids out to participate in serving food for St. Maria's Mills. One in particular is a student who was in a doctoral program and had some time off from school and came out to help with their parents. It's always a joy for me to see this and let you know the entire family can participate and become involved in helping others. It's a teamwork and a group effort. It's also a great opportunity to receive community service hours for children, which is a requirement for most school age kids before they graduate high school and go off to college. With that being said, my final thoughts are, I pray that volunteering for Catholic Charities, I am making a difference. I'm giving a sense of hope and inspiration to those that are in need, that I am showing individuals that Catholic Charities truly cares about them, and showing individuals that there's something good that can come out of any unfortunate situation. So what does giving hope means to me? It means hang on, things will eventually change for the better. We at Catholic Charities are here to help. Thank you.
Karen, thank you. It's so nice to hear you say we at Catholic Charities, because you're definitely part of the team. I appreciate you sharing your story. And I forgot to mention when I was introducing you that Karen is an accountant with the Department of Justice, and she also stepped out of her swim lane to volunteer in a different way. So thank you, Karen, for being with us tonight and sharing your story. So we have now been on 5 stops of our tour and heard from 5 people about their commitments to volunteering. Kevin told us about volunteering with people who are immigrants. Mary Lou told us about volunteering behind the scenes with Catholic Charities staff. Fred told us about volunteering for people who want to do better with their money. Anne told us about volunteering to help people find jobs. And Karen told us about volunteering to do more. If we were physically together in the same room, I think we'd send up a huge cheer, but we're going to have to do a Zoom cheer tonight. Yay, thank you all so much. You're fabulous. We really appreciate you spending this time with us. And now it's time for our big finish speaker. And then I'll do a quick wrap up. Our final speaker is Mike Williams. Now, we know Mike as a serial volunteer leader. He has a very long resume of volunteer leadership on various boards and philanthropic and trustee boards in the region. And Mike has had a successful career as a global real estate entrepreneur and regulator of various kinds. He's been on the board at Children's Hospital in Washington and is a trustee at Drexel University. And now we're very happy that he's joined the board of Catholic Charities. And we appreciate you being with us here tonight, Mike.
Thanks, Maggie. It's great to be here, and it's great to be with all of you tonight. I'm so pleased to be here. We're having a little bit of a thunderstorm where I am right now, so hopefully this all works. Either that or maybe it's telling me to speak quickly. But as I begin, let me just give some special thanks to Father John, Maggie, and all the volunteer staff for organizing tonight's event. It's been really great. Hearing from my colleagues on the panel, it's been completely energizing for me. Now, of course, that means that my special challenge is that I'm the last speaker between you and dinner, or you and a glass of wine, or you and a glass of wine and dinner. So it's a bit of a daunting assignment, but I'll try and measure up to the task. You might hear a little thunder in the background as I'm doing this. But anyway, as Maggie mentioned, after completing my tenure as board chair of the Children's National Hospital, I then got the call that Kevin Verostek, the Catholic Charities board chair, wanted to speak with me, and Father John wanted to meet me for breakfast. Well, you know, that can only mean one thing. My wife, Kathy, and I have been longtime financial supporters of Catholic Charities. So you can imagine how excited I was to be asked to join the board of Catholic Charities. Now, as Maggie mentioned, I've been a serial board volunteer since the mid-1990s, beginning with Sarah's Circle, which provides multifamily housing for low-income seniors here in DC, to Connolly School of the Holy Child in Potomac, an independent girls' school in Montgomery County, to Children's National Hospital, to Drexel University, my alma mater, to St. Christopher's Children's Hospital for underserved kids in Philadelphia, and now Catholic Charities. As a former CEO and the current chair of a public company board, I view board service as a great opportunity for me to use my time, talent, and treasures to support the organizations and communities that I love to serve and that I really needed to serve, which are seniors, students, sick kids, and the underserved in DC and Philadelphia. It also has given me amazing opportunities to work outside the boardroom and work directly with the communities we serve, such as helping a senior citizen move into their brand new apartment or opening a new primary care clinic in Ward 8. This is how we can all make a difference in the lives of those who are less fortunate than we are. But these are not the only ways we can all make a difference, which is why I'm so excited about the opportunity to serve on the board of Catholic Charities. Not only does it allow me to do my board service, which I hope to do well and I enjoy doing, but it also gives me and all of us the opportunity to serve the community in other ways. During our nearly 30 years here in DC, my family and I have had the opportunity to work in a homeless shelter on third shift, mentor underserved kids, secure healthcare for immigrant families, and prepare meals for the homeless and serve them. The last one was thanks to an awesome parish pastor we had. I think his name was Father John Ensler. Now, Catholic Charities gives us the opportunity to do these volunteer activities and so much more. There is something there for each and every one of us. I look forward to taking advantage of all these opportunities as well, and I hope you will join me in this awesome opportunity. And with that, let me thank you for your time. Thank you for supporting Catholic Charities. And now I will turn it back to Maggie.
Thank you very much, Mike. Great to hear an invitation from a board member to volunteer like I do. We appreciate that very much. So I hope you've all enjoyed our 1-hour virtual tour of volunteering with Catholic Charities. I hope you've heard something tonight that empowers you to join our mission and to step up to volunteer for one of the many opportunities that we have open right now. Please think about what you've heard and keep track of your questions. Tomorrow, midday sometime, a member of the Catholic Charities volunteer team will call you to ask you what you want to do next. And at that time, we'll be very happy to answer any administrative or logistical questions that you have. So until we talk again, thank you so much for being with us and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.